Hey, what's going on, everybody? Brent Hyden here, coming at you on this Wednesday morning, talking 10 games around the NBA. Again, if you've missed the past couple of videos, just going to be changing the format around on these videos. That way, whenever MLB season comes around, you guys will have time to watch both of my videos covering NBA and MLB for the time that the two sports are overlapping. On the subject of MLB, if you are a current NBA subscriber, then you get a discount on the NBA package. Details about that are posted in Discord if you want to check it out. If you did happen to stumble across this video and you're not signed up for my NBA package, there's a few things that you should definitely consider doing. One, follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle at BrentHyden1 is in the description down below. Number two, send me a direct message over on the Twitter machine and find out how you can get access to MLB content, Discord, projections, all that good stuff. For a very affordable one-time price. And if you sign up between now and opening day, you will get access to NBA for free for the rest of the season. So a pretty good deal there. Hopping right into the games tonight. We do have a lot of high-scoring games on the schedule. We have Dallas at Washington, 231.5 over-under is what it opened at. San Antonio, Atlanta at 235 is currently what it is live right now. Philly, Chicago, 227 is what it opened at. We have Knicks, Phoenix, which is about a 225. Utah, New Orleans, a replay of a game we saw just a couple days ago at 231. Denver at LA, 222. I did touch on that game a lot in the notes. Some very important things in that game to monitor. And then Boston at Sacramento, again, another game that I think we need to monitor, with Boston coming in on a back-to-back, having a tendency at times to rest players in spots like this. So that's something to keep an eye on. But a 229 over under. But let's go ahead and just hop into the top plays that I'm looking at here early on. First one, Luka Doncic. I know he let everyone down against Brooklyn. He comes in at 9,100 on DraftKings, 9,300 over on FanDuel. Has just been playing extremely well. This is a perfect time to go back to Luka Doncic after he was chalk last game, let everyone down. Coming in, he was still good in that game. I mean, he still put up 31 fantasy points in 28 minutes, but did definitely let everyone down. But over the last 30 days, he's posted a 33% usage rate, averaging 100 touches per game, 15.5 potential assists per game over that span as well, averaging 24.4 points, 9.4 boards, 7.4 dimes over the last 30 days. Against a Washington defense that's just getting pummeled. They're giving up 116.8 points per game to opponents. They rank 27th in defensive efficiency to point guards. I just find it really, really unlikely that Luka Doncic lets us down in this spot. So he is someone that I am definitely looking at building my lineups around. I absolutely love him here tonight. There's someone else that I'm going to get to on the other side of this game that I really, really like as well here whenever we get to shooting guard. Obviously, probably don't need a whole lot to figure that one out, but we'll get there here shortly. The second guy that I want to talk about is Derek White, coming in at 5,400 on DraftKings, 6,700 on FanDuel. Again, draws a really, really good matchup, as I highlighted earlier, a 235 and a half over under in that Atlanta game. San Antonio at Atlanta game. He's been really good over his last 3 games with 30 plus fantasy points in each. He takes really high efficiency shots. He has at least 24 fantasy points in his last 4. That's basically since he started playing his normal minutes after returning from injury. This is a superb matchup. Hawks 30th in defensive efficiency to opposing point guards on the season. They've allowed them to shoot 48% from the floor, almost 40% from 3. Most of his shots, as I mentioned, come in high efficiency zones, 39% at the rim, 24% in the paint. The matchup is absolutely great for him. I think there's potential for him to get some extra blocks and steals, with Atlanta being a team that is leading the NBA in turnovers per game. Looking at it right now, they are turning the ball over 18 times per game, so that definitely raises his floor. It's just a great spot here for Derek White, who I think, especially on DraftKings, is too cheap. I'm hoping his ownership stays down here tonight. On the flip side of this game, I really like Trae Young here, coming in at 8,800 on DraftKings. He's cheaper over on FanDuel at 84. He's posted a 30% usage rate over the last 30 days, Really, really good matchup. Spurs struggle in transition, so that's a boost to Trae Young. They are also allowing opposing point guards to connect on 36% of their three-point attempts this season, which we know Trae Young, a guy that can light it up from three, something that I don't think people realize. Trae Young, while he is really known for his three-point shooting, takes a lot of shots in the paint and the mid-range. 64% of his shots come at the rim or inside the three-point line. He leads a team with 17.5 drives per game against this Spurs team that is really struggling. They can't defend the rim. They're allowing opponents to shoot 64% at the rim. They can't defend in the paint, where opponents are shooting 42.5% against them on the season, and they're allowing 43.1% shooting in the mid-range on the season. Those numbers actually up up over the last 10 games as well, and they're allowing opponents to shoot 37% from three over that span. I absolutely love Trae Young here tonight, going back to that well after he struggled against Miami. He's still averaging 30.6 points with 9.4 dimes on 49% shooting across his last 5 games. Moving on to shooting guard, I mentioned the guy on the other side of the ball from Luka. That's going to be Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal coming in at 9,800 on DraftKings, 10-5 over on FanDuel. I'm still 100% okay paying that price tag for Bradley Beal, a guy that's topped 50 fantasy points in 3 of his last 4 games. He's playing like 38, 40 minutes per night. Absolutely great spot here. Dallas has allowed opponents to shoot 50% from the floor over the last 10 games, to go along with 47% or 47.6 rebounds per game, 115.4 points allowed per game. Beal, clearly a top option for me. 28.3% usage rate over the last 10 last 30 days for Bradley Beal, touching the ball 84.1% of the time, 13 potential assists. He's averaging 30.9 points per game over that span, shooting 52.4%, pulling down 4.7 boards and 6.8 dimes. Dallas has allowed opponents to shoot 73% at the rim over the last 10 games, 43.5% field goal percentage in the paint, for 45.3% in the mid-range. Those areas account for about 65% of Bradley Beal's shooting this season. Dallas ranks 19th in defensive efficiency to opposing shooting guards. So basically, I just don't see a scenario where Bradley Beal doesn't just go bananas in this game. So I absolutely love Bradley Beal here tonight. Going back to San Antonio at Atlanta, DeMar DeRozan, 8,200 on DraftKings, 9K on FanDuel. One of my other favorite options at shooting guard. Leads the team, 28% usage rate over the last 30 days. He has at least 40 fantasy points in 5 of his last 10. Hawks, 29th in defensive efficiency to small forwards on the season. So this is a great spot here for DeMar DeRozan, and I call him the small forward even though he's listed as shooting guard because, well, that's where he's starting. He's starting alongside Derek White, Bryn Forbes, so that basically puts him at the 3, even though he is still a high usage guy at the 3. 71% of his shots come in the paint or the mid-range. Those are areas where the Hawks defense has been absolutely atrocious, as I noted with Derek White. Yeah, he leads the team 21.5 points per game. Past 9 games is shooting 51.2% from the floor. I absolutely love DeMar DeRozan here tonight. Going down a walk down narrative street here for my third option at shooting guard, and that's going to be Dwayne Wade. I continue to absolutely love Dwayne Wade on a nightly basis, mostly on DraftKings, where his price tag just never seems to come up. He's 5,500 on DraftKings, 6,300 on FanDuel. Most nights going to play the 25 to 28 minute role. Still going to have like a 30% usage rate off the bench. The Hornets really bad against both point guards and shooting guards. They're one of the league's worst defenses against opposing shooting guards. He takes 75% of his shots inside the 3-point line, and that's really important in this matchup because, well, Charlotte's just been really bad defending in those areas. Pulling those numbers up right now, Charlotte allowing opponents to shoot over 41% in both of those areas over on the entire season. But over the last 10 games, opponents are shooting 45% field goal percentage on mid-range attempts. Wade, a guy, again, 30%, over 30% usage rate off of the bench. There is the narrative. This is the last time that Dwayne Wade will play Charlotte in Charlotte. So this is the last time for him to play in front of Michael Jordan. A little bit of a narrative there. But he has scored below 27 fantasy points in just 3 of his last 10 games. It gives him a really solid floor. It gives him plenty of upside. We've seen the upside games, the 35, the 40, 32, 36, 34. Like, we've seen the upside out of him, so I really do like him in this spot. Going to the late night games or later games for the shooting small forward position, Kelly Oubre coming at 6,200 on DraftKings, 7,700 on FanDuel. Something people might not realize, and this is important against the Knicks. Kelly Oubre over the last 30 days, 11.2 rebound chances per game. That is the second highest mark on the team behind only DeAndre Ayton. Kelly Oubre, who has been outstanding over that span, averaging 18.1 points, putting up 14.4 shot attempts per game, shooting 46.2% from the floor, pulling down 5.3 boards over that span against the Knicks team that, again, as I mentioned, can't rebound. I like his rebounding chances here to pull down 6, 7, maybe even 8, potentially closer to double-digit rebounds here. Just because the Knicks, they're just so bad defending, keeping opponents off the glass. They're giving up 47.8 rebounds per game. They have a lot of opponents to shoot 38% from 3, which is a boost to Oubre, who takes 40% of his shots from 3. They also rank 24th in defensive efficiency to opposing small forwards. With the minutes that he's playing in close games, the field goal attempts he's putting up, the rebounding potential here for Kelly Oubre, absolutely love him in this spot tonight. Looking at Denver Lakers, this is a game that I want to get some exposure to. As I noted in the breakdown, you want to check that out. There's some things that I think we need to be considering whenever we're attacking this game. But assuming it stays close, which we should operate under the assumption most nights that games are not going to blow out. Will Barton, 5,900 over on FanDuel, 5,600 over on DraftKings. Great matchup. Lakers 22nd defensive efficiency to opposing small forwards on the season. They're giving up 46.8 rebounds per game. Barton ranks 4th on the team with 8.1 rebound chances per game. We saw the rebounding upside against the Utah Jazz. He did struggle a little bit in these last 2 games in really good matchups after putting up really big games and really bad matchups. The field goal attempts are nice. It's a really, really good spot here for Will Barton. I absolutely love him in pretty much all formats here tonight. Going back to a value option here, at least over on DraftKings, he's 5,300 on FanDuel, but over on DraftKings, he is 4,700. Luke Kennard, still playing big minutes most nights, still taking a ton of shots most nights, still putting up solid games. I mean, he has 30-plus fantasy points in 3 of his last 4 of his last 5 games. 49% of his shots come from beyond the arc. That's really important with Minnesota allowing opposing small forwards to shoot over 40% from 3 on the season. I absolutely love Luke Kennard here as a value option tonight. Sticking in that game at power forward, Blake Griffin, 8,600 on DraftKings, 8,500 on FanDuel. Coming off 3 down games, but I absolutely love the spot here for him. Minnesota 18th in defensive efficiency to power forwards on the season, allowing them to shoot 40.3% from 3, so that is a pretty big boost to Griffin. He's posting a 31% usage rate, still averaging 1.23 fantasy points per minute over the last 30 days. Really good spot here for Blake Griffin, and a spot that I think goes really, really overlooked here tonight. Dallas, Washington, looking at Dwight Powell. I know he's listed as a center on DraftKings, but he's power forward over on FanDuel, where his price tag is $6,800. He's $5,900 over here on DraftKings. Continues to play 30-plus minutes now. Most nights. He has topped 30 fantasy points in 3 of his last 4, has topped 30 minutes in 4 straight games, coming off a good game against the Nets. 20 points, 6 dimes, 6 boards against the Wizards, who are another punching bag for opposing centers. Absolutely love this spot here for him tonight. Averages 12.5 rebound chances per game. Gets a matchup against a Wizards team that is giving up 47.45 rebounds per game to opponents. 14.3 second chance points. 51 points in the paint. That's huge for Dwight Powell. and allowing 66.4% shooting at the rim. They do rank 24th in defensive efficiency to opposing centers. I absolutely love Dwight Powell here in all formats. Looking at the next power forward that I am targeting here tonight, we're going to go to the Philly-Chicago game and Tobias Harris, who has been outstanding since coming over. He has topped, 20 real points. I am scrolling up in my notes to find it, but he has topped 20 real points in 7 straight games. And this is a spot against a Bulls team that is really bad on defense. I know they've been better recently, but they're still really bad. On defense, I really love the spot for him. Chicago's 16th in defensive efficiency to opposing power forwards, giving up 21.3 points, 10.2 boards. They've allowed opposing power forwards to connect on 36% of their three-point attempts. They've been really bad defending the rim lately, 67.2% shooting allowed at the rim. 72% of Harris's field goal attempts come at the rim or from three. Scoring upside is definitely there. Without Embiid on the floor since joining the team, Tobias Harris 15.4 rebound chances per game. So against the Bulls team, giving up 46.5 rebounds per game. I like the spot here for Tobias Harris. I also really like Ben Simmons. I probably should have highlighted him in the point guard section, but again, with the poor rim protection from the Bulls, with the bad rebounding from the Bulls, this is a spot where we could see a big game from Ben Simmons, who has been really good recently as well. But moving on to center, DeAndre Ayton, 8,500 on DraftKings, 7,400 on DraftKings, 8,500 on FanDuel. Really, really good spot. Again, Knicks giving up 47.8 rebounds per game, 51.5 points in the paint, 14.2 second chance points. He's been playing really well over the last couple of games, double-digit boards in 3 of the last 4. Scoring has been up a little bit for him as well in those games. Leads the team almost 12 points in the paint scored per game. Third on the team with 52.3 touches per game over the last 30 days. I absolutely love the upside here for him tonight against the Knicks team that is really, really bad against opposing centers. We did see him put up almost 40 fantasy points in limited minutes against the Knicks earlier this season. Going back to a guy I highlighted the other nights, the last time these teams played a couple nights ago, Rudy Gobert, 8,100 on DraftKings, 10-2 over on FanDuel, coming off 19 points, 19 rebounds against the Pelicans, and 48 fantasy points. Absolutely love him for all the same reasons I loved him last game. Pelicans 27th in defensive efficiency to opposing centers on this season. They've surrendered 46.7 rebounds per game over the last 10, 50.4 points in the paint. Definitely has some block upside as well. He has topped 45 fantasy points in 5 of the last 10 games. As I mentioned last time, Pelicans have 8 players taking a large portion of shots in the paint or at the rim, so that is a boost to him. Going back to someone else I loved a couple of nights ago, and he's going to be in just about every single video that I do, Nikola Jokic, 10-6 over on DraftKings, 10-9 over on FanDuel. 30.1% usage rate over the last 30 days, ranks third in the NBA with 94 touches per game over that span. Did struggle a little bit against San Antonio last time out. I still absolutely love the spot here for him tonight. Lakers giving up the 4th most fantasy points per game to opposing centers, 46.8 rebounds per game, 51 points in the paint allowed per game, 27th in defensive efficiency to the position. He should absolutely beast in the spot. Again, as I mentioned with the Nuggets, the biggest risk is blowout, but again, I don't like to heavily consider that. But he's still averaging like 41 fantasy points per game, even in limited minutes against the Nuggets or against the Lakers this season. And last but not least, going back to the well here in this San Antonio and Atlanta game, Alex Len, 4,500 on DraftKings, 4,100 on FanDuel. If you made it this far, you didn't turn me off, or you didn't turn the video off already, then, well, here we are with Alex Len. Going to be one of the top center options on the slate. Hopefully people jump off the train after Chalk Alex Len burned them last time out. This is a spot where I will 100% be going back to the well with Alex Len, especially at his price tag. 1.05 fantasy points per minute with Dwayne Dedmon ruled out. He's doubtful, but again, pretty much all but certain to be out for this game. Spurs, 24th in defensive efficiency to opposing centers. We know the potential is there. We know the upside is there for Alex Len. He is a guy that I'm going back to the well with here tonight. That's going to do it for today's video. I will be back on Friday. We do have a regular size slate on Friday, but with just 2 games tomorrow, I will not see you guys tomorrow. So good luck in all your contests, and I'll see you on Friday.